host, Adam Hess, and with me, as always, he crashed in qualifying, he crashed in practice 1, and he might not race today. It's Mike Regan. Mike, how you doing today?
I'm scared.
Okay, why are you scared?
Oh, I thought I had saved an image of the full list of people, but yesterday was Trump's little college sports roundtable or whatever he did.
Good start to the podcast.
Yeah, and I know this isn't. I'm probably not going to write about this, at least not right now. I might, if I do a off-season recap, I might throw it in there. But he did this roundtable with all these people, and then he said that within the next couple of days he'll have an executive order written up. So I do fear that in college football's search for some kind of consistency or steadiness, they're going to go backwards.
Any chance the executive order just says that college athletes cannot get paid? I think that's going to happen.
I don't even know what it's going to say. It was the first, not the first time, but it was one of those times where when I read Trump says he'll be working on executive order to come out soon. It was the first time I thought yeah, we should get rid of the president's ability to do that. I mean, not the first time, but the most recent time where I thought of it, where I was like, I shouldn't be able to do that.
I like how you're sending the National Guard into Minneapolis and killing people wasn't great, but fucking with college football, that's one step too far, goddammit.
I'm just saying, for all the things that college football does need some sort of governing body to come in and stabilize, like I said, based on the list of people who attended, not Tiger Woods. He was invited, but he couldn't attend. There were some weird people there. I think the owner of the Yankees or someone with the Yankees was on there.
Yeah, it's Larry David. I've watched Seinfeld.
Yeah, Larry David was there. And it was just weird, but based on the people who were there, I'm worried about what that executive order will say. Not just because of how it could affect the schools, more so the athletes, but also because of the headache it could lead to. Because even with an executive order, you can take things to court. So,
I'm curious.
That's fucked up.
I'm going to give you 3 options here, and I want you to tell me what you think is going to hurt our retention on this episode more, or I should say on the channel more. One, last basket that I did with Tyler, we talked about Ponce de Leon's signature for a solid 8 minutes.
That's the leader right now.
2, you opening up the podcast with Trump talk and college football Trump talk. Opening a hockey podcast with college football Trump talk. Or 3, me trying to open up the podcast by crowing in F1. Which one of those 3 things do you think is going to hurt retention the most?
I think it's the F1. People are going to hear that one sentence and be like, I'm done. Fuck this pod.
Yeah, it didn't. I'll tell you what. It didn't do miracles for our channel last week when the entire podcast was comparing F1 to the NBA. That didn't exactly launch us into Mr. Beast territory.
You said last week, and I was like, I didn't say shit about F1. What are you talking about? But you and Tyler, that's just a danger of getting you two together because you both like F1 so much. It's going to happen.
The segment was F1 teams to NBA team comparisons, and it turned into just a mess of just unprocessable garbage. Just it was just naming names that you have to watch both sports in depth to say. It was like, is Musa Diabate the Kimi Räikkönen of the NBA?
Yeah. So what you're telling me is that I need to, if Town Alone doesn't become a multi-million-dollar company, I need to sue Tyler Karkar of the podcast for damages and emotional damages.
I would say it's already worth a lawsuit. I mean, think about what he's done to us, Mike.
What did they do to us?
We are this week a hockey podcast, not, and I think you should leave podcast, not an F1 podcast, not a college football and Donald Trump podcast, but a pure hockey podcast. And Mike, I have one rule, and I need you to promise me live on air that you will abide by this rule.
Okay.
I have noticed recently in 3 separate podcasts I've listened to that this has been brought up, and we are not going to do it today, okay, Mike? Can you agree to this? Okay. You will not bring this up today. We are not going to talk about Danhausen on this podcast. I don't know why podcasts keep talking about Danhausen, but we are not going to talk about Danhausen on this fucking podcast.
We're not going to talk about it. I will say they're talking about him because they came up with the worst possible idea to introduce him. So
okay, but Danhausen
what
wasn't
Tarzan
relevant before AEW. He wasn't relevant on AEW. He's not going to be relevant after AEW. He's Danhausen. We're not talking about him, Mike.
He's tough. Well, no, he's tight with CM Punk, and he was super hot on the.
We're talking about him. We're talking about him right now.
This was the
rule. I said the rule was we're not talking about him, and right now you're talking about him.
We're not talking about Danhausen. I just cursed you. If you could do the Danhausen cursing, you're cursed. Now you're gonna shit your pants when you're walking down the sidewalk in Chicago.
Like I wasn't already gonna do that. All right, Mike.
People are gonna think you're homeless. You smell like doo-doo. Like, he's homeless.
Wearing my McLaren shirt. The trade deadline happened in the NHL, Mike.
Did it? It was so underwhelming.
What are you talking about? People are jizzing their pants. Man, this podcast is just
What, you said jizzing?
We're 7 minutes into it. We mentioned shitting your pants, Danhausen, F1, Donald Trump, and Ponce de Leon.
Oh. That might be the worst one. Like, you over there is like, oh, yes, Ponce de Leon. Found in Florida. Was looking for the Fountain of Youth.
When do you get a chance? You should look up his signature. It's outrageous.
It's outrageous, yeah.
But Nazem Kadri,
one of those post 3:00 news, because you just have to have the trades submitted to the office by then, so you always get a handful that come out after that.
I just like that people are comparing this to the Tomas Hertl trade, where they're like, Vegas, like right at 3:00, right at the deadline, got the Tomas Hertl trade in. This is the Tomas Hertl. It's like, nah, come on. Nazem Kadri is a 35-year-old 3C on a team that the 2C is a 32-year-old 2C. Let's not pretend that Nazem Kadri turned the Avs from being the St. Louis Blues into the 99 Devils. Like,
I mean, but I will say his legend will grow if he was like because 3 years ago now?
2022?
4 years ago?
2022.
So 2022. Yeah, so 4 years ago now, when they won the Cup, he was just one of the best years of his career. Was playing the 2C there for them. So it will add to the legend of Nazem Kadri if he returns to the Avs and they win the Cup this year. Even though it's really not going to be because of him.
Right.
It will add to his legend.
If Nazem Kadri
he's going to watch out
16 minutes a night, I will eat meat live on air.
Yeah. He's not going to be on their top 6 probably at this point in his career. But I don't hate it for Chicago bringing him back. I don't hate that. I mean, he has to watch out. Or I'm sorry, Colorado, yeah, different C team, but he always has to be on guard for those Jordan Bennington water bottles. You never know. Take a Deer Park to the face.
We're not doing winners and losers because that's played out. We're also not talking about Danhausen, so we're not doing things that most hockey podcasts are doing this week. We're doing a segment that we've done before called "What Does It Do for the Greater Good?" We don't really understand what it means, but it's a reference to I Think You Should Leave, and that's fun. God damn it.
It's fun.
It's fun. So let's start here. Let's start with the Colorado Avalanche. Mike, the Avalanche acquire Nazem Kadri, Nicholas Waugh. What does it do for the greater good?
I mean, not much. It gives Colorado some depth at center. Like, I feel like two of the things I harp on the most when it comes to be like, can you be a real playoff team, is going to be, you got like defensive depth, you got center depth down the spine. I think those are extremely important. And they didn't give up anything that would really hurt them. And they added a veteran who they can put on the third or fourth line, maybe get some points out of him in the postseason. So it's the kind of move you would expect the team that's at the top of the league to make. Like, we're not doing anything groundbreaking, but we're going to stock up on depth to prepare for any potential injuries.
And they probably have the best center spine in the league now, if they didn't already. But McKinnon, Nelson, Kadri, Waugh, and then Jack Drury is like their fifth center, who's probably going to play a wing over one of their other wings.
Yeah.
It's really good, but like, they're also now relying. How old's Nick Waugh? Is Nick Waugh like 35, 36?
You see?
And Brock Nelson's 32, 33. Like, they're outside of McKinnon, all of their centers are like on the downslope of their career. They're all good. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, having Nick Waugh as your 4C is a luxury few teams have. But none of those guys, like in the playoffs, say the Avs play, we'll say they go like 5 games, 5 games, 6 games, 7 games, right, in the playoffs. So 23 games in the playoffs. I would be surprised if any one of those guys had more than 11 points in 23 games.
Yeah. But I mean, I will say, like, Kadri obviously, like, he put up 35 goals last year, and he's not on pace to do that this year. Only has 12, 61 games into the season, so you'd have to go pretty nuclear to hit that number. But he's still 41 points in 61 games for a guy of his age isn't bad. He has his value, so that's turned out well. Nick Waugh was more like just getting fourth line depth.
Yeah, just a PK2 guy. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I almost like the Nick Waugh move better than the Nazem Kadri move. Like, if they hadn't made the Nazem Kadri move, maybe I'm just being contrarian. But people are like, the trade of the day, Nazem Kadri back to the Avalanche. And
not the trade of the day.
This is
Even though there wasn't much competition
so go ahead.
for trade of the day. So go ahead.
Yeah, it's name a team bringing back important role player of yesteryear and it going, yeah, sure. I mean, it's obviously like
Corey Perry.
Fucking 6 tiers. Yeah, Corey Perry. It's obviously like 6 tiers above Chris Paul back to the Clippers, but like that style thing, Brian Arakpo back to the Commanders, Tre'Davious White back to the Bills. Like, you're bringing back guys that used to be important to this team, but they're not the same guy anymore. Like Kadri is not. Neither one of these moves changes this team's ceiling. They just sort of change the floor. And if you're the Avalanche, I wouldn't be too concerned with my floor. Your goal is a cup, not, hey, we made the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a oddly specific prediction or a bold prediction now.
Well, come on, buddy. It's town alone. You got to stay on brand. No bold predictions here.
Yeah, oddly specific prediction is that during the playoffs this year, Nazem Kadri will score 1 overtime goal. Like I said, just to add to that legacy.
May I ask for an extra
brought
clarification?
Him back, and look what he's done.
Can I ask 2 clarifications on this?
Yeah.
1, would a shootout count?
I said playoffs. 1 overtime goal in the
never mind.
playoffs.
Got it. Okay, and 2, for what team?
What do you mean for the Avalanche?
I mean, if he scored, like just hear me out. Let's say Nazem Kadri hears this, right? Yeah. They're up 3-0 against the Vegas Golden Knights. He gets the puck. He remembers Mike Regan in town alone saying he was going to score an overtime goal. What if he just turns around and own goals it? Does that count?
No, because he's being a dick then.
Okay, that's why I asked the clarification, Mike. So when that happens, you don't get credit for the prediction. That's why I asked.
I don't.
Any more thoughts on the Avs, or can we move on to the next team?
Move it along.
All right, Mike, your Buffalo Sabres take a shot on the blue line despite missing their top targets. Bring in Logan Stanley, Luke Shin, Sam Carrick, and Tanner Pearson for a bunch of stuff. You send out a prospect, send out some picks. Most importantly, though, I'm going to read this again. You tell me what's missing from those. Logan Stanley, Luke Shin, Sam Carrick, and Tanner Pearson. What am I missing from that list?
Like a bottom 6 forward, like a bottom 6 wing, probably.
I think I'm missing Colton Parayko or Robert Thomas. Hold on. Let me try. They got to be on there. Let me try reading it one more time. Logan Stanley, Luke Shin, Sam Carrick, Tanner Pearson. Where did I miss them? Did I not type them in? Is this on me?
It's not on you. Parayko said taxes are too high, not enough palm trees.
Yeah.
So
do you think
he didn't?
It would be great if we just hard cut to inside Colton Parayko's apartment in St. Louis and it was just filled with palm trees.
Yeah, he's just around. I love palm trees. There's none there.
They call me Palm Tree Parayko.
The news after he said no and didn't waive his clause was that the two top teams he said yes I'll go to were the Kings and the Ducks. So I was like, damn, this motherfucker loves palm trees. He's trying to get out to California.
It's I'll go to the Kings, the Ducks, Florida. I'll play for the Miami Heat.
Cuba, I think they have palm trees. Maybe any tropical island, but because at the time, the idea of, we're going to get Parayko, and we gave up a first, and yes, we gave up our top defensive prospect, but we're not as concerned with prospects right now, so it was okay. I was like, oh my God, add Parayko to what we have. We're going to have arguably the best defensive unit in the East. We're going to be so good. And then he was a dick. He said no. So in turn, we missed out on a top pair, or if you want to be more a little harder at grading it, say a top 2 pair defenseman. And so we traded for 2 third pair defensemen.
Yeah, so there's a
to
thing
make up for it.
there's a thing in chess that some low-level players will do, where if you take an important piece, they'll then immediately try to retake something to kind of like scrabble back and take back the position and the points. So like say you take a rook, someone will make a poor move to put your knight in danger because they're like, fuck, I lost a rook, now I gotta get those points back. They kind of did that where they missed out on Parayko and went, fuck, we didn't get Parayko. All right, well, we got to trade for defenseman on the Blues somehow.
Yeah. All their moves, Carrick, Stanley Shen, and Pearson felt very, we like the team we have. So if we can't get a big fish, we're just going to get guys to have on the roster in the event that we have injuries going into the playoffs or during the playoffs. Because that's the
I do think like that's a great way of slanting it, because I think that's right. Where like if we all had our minds wiped and we didn't hear the Parayko Robert Thomas rumors, and just on trade deadline day, the Buffalo Sabres traded, some young or important-ish pieces along with some future assets for depth on a team right now that is obviously playoff bound, making a push to try to actually win the division, and has an opportunity to win a round or two.
Bitches, we're coming, Tampa.
I think that would all make a lot of sense. It's just in the light of the rumors being Colton Parayko, Robert Thomas, and then in it, like, you're like, we have Colton Parayko at home and it's fucking Logan Stanley. You're like, well, come on, we got Timu Colton Parayko.
Yeah. I don't care about any of the picks we gave up. The second round in the Stanley and Shen trade was conditional, so it says that they'll receive the better of Buffalo or Edmonton's. I guess we had Edmonton's 4th round pick, so whichever's better.
That's like giving the 3rd pick overall.
Yeah, and then the players that they gave up were Jacob Bryson, who I personally, as of the defensemen we've put out this year, he's not even just this season, for the past like 3 seasons, this is my least favorite defenseman. So I'm like, see ya. And he was a UFA at the end of the year. And then Isaac Rosen at one point we thought would be one of our like stud prospects who would come up. He just hasn't really worked out, whether it be an effort thing. He has a nice shot, but he just hasn't been able to get him in good position to take that shot in the NFL. So it was fine to move on with him. Like I said, I'm cool with it. I think teams, a lot of times we see them fall victim to injuries, but particularly on the blue line, can sink a playoff run. And the biggest thing is that it does for the greater good is I think it helps Sabres fans avoid PTSD come playoffs. Because a long time ago, in the years of the days of yore, like roughly 20 years ago, we were in the Eastern Conference Finals against the Panthers, and a big part of why we lost was our blue line was so beat to shit. And so now we got guys who they're veterans. They've played in the NHL. We can throw them in there. Luke Shen, he's had some success throughout his career. Yeah, he's 400 years old, but that could be nice. So all in all, the Sabres moves weren't something to be like, oh my God, about, but it's like, all right, we tacked on some depth. No one met, and I'm sorry, I'll cut. I know I'm going long because it's my team, but I'm not frustrated about losing out on Parayko and especially Thomas, because you know what? They didn't make a Parayko trade, and no one met their ridiculous asking price for Robert Thomas, which from all the reports about what the teams that were talking to him, what they wanted, were crazy. And the best one that came out during like the days leading up to the trade deadline was this report that the dumbass St. Louis Blues, I apologize for calling you guys dumbasses, but you are, is that they wanted NHL ready players. And for Robert Thomas, and my response was like, hey, you have an NHL ready player, a very good one. It's Robert fucking Thomas. So why are you moving him for NHL ready players? Are you tanking or not? Are you rebuilding or not? What are you doing?
That was the Rangers did a similar thing where they were like, we're not moving Vincent Trocheck unless you send us someone who could play in the lineup right now. And I'm like,
Vincent Trocheck's playing in the lineup right now.
You already have Vincent Trocheck in the lineup, so why not just keep him and not move anything then?
Yeah, this is dumb.
Gold medalist Vincent Trocheck. Mike.
Yeah.
Justin Falk to the Red Wings. The Yzerplan comes into full effect. What does it do for the greater good?
that was one of those. It hit 2:00, but afterwards, all the LeBruns and the can't remember his name, the dude with the glasses, the white hair for TSN, were shouting out that deal was in the works. They didn't give. I mean, the first round pick, they gave up a decent haul, but including Justin Hall, HOLL. Look, see what I did there.
Pretty good.
But they got, arguably, when you bring age into the factor, they got the better of the two defensemen that St. Louis was making available between Parayko and Falk. Oh, am I wrong, or are you just choking?
Choking.
Oh, okay. So I was like, I thought Falk was younger. Yeah. Oh no, he's 33. He's only like a year or two younger. So never mind.
You were still.
So they
correct.
got one of those. Yeah, they got one of those two defensemen that they were going, and I think it's something that Detroit needs, a team that is struggling to keep goals at a net and also is struggling to score points. So if you are going to be in that situation, you're going to want to either add guys who can score or add help on the defense to help cut down on the amount of goals you give up. So solid move for them. And St. Louis also got a solid haul for him. So that's like one of the trades where I was like, win-win.
Imagine how good St. Louis's trade deadline would look if they traded their two most valuable pieces that they didn't trade.
They will be. I'm gonna tell you right now. Next year, St. Louis will be. They'll be going into the tread line. The tread line. I slammed the words together. The trade deadline. A few points out of a wild card spot.
I'll take the under.
And once again, looking at unless they move Thomas and Parayko in the offseason. If they don't, they're going to be in the same spot. They're going to be in the outside looking in, and the same rumors are going to be swirling, and they're going to be taking offers on the same players they were taking offers on now.
Right, but like, here's the thing: is Parayko is 32, Robert Thomas 26, but Jordan Binnington also 31. Like, Jordan Binnington is 32. Like, they traded away all their depth. They kept their top end guys and Binnington, who they could have traded to Edmonton for name your price at this point. What are the chances that Robert Thomas and Colton Parayko look as good of an asset next year as they do right now?
I mean, Thomas will be 27 at that point.
He'll be 27, but all of their depth is gone.
Yeah. So I mean,
like, if you're trying to make the case that like, Nazem Kadri, he's going to do much better on a good team, then he's going that by that same argument, Robert Thomas is going to look worse on this dog shit St. Louis roster next year.
Yeah. I mean, if St. Louis had called me and they said, "Hey, we talked to Yarmo, and he said that you're in charge of making this for Robert Thomas." Yeah, Kekalainen, not billing him.
Okay. And
you are in charge of making this Robert Thomas trade. I would have said, all right, I'll give you our first in 2026. I'll give you a depth farther down pick in 2027. I'll give you Jack Quinn, who is an NHL player now, and I even would have said, hey, I'll give you Constance Helenius, our top prospect who came up and played a stretch of games in the NHL and played good. Yeah. So he'll be NHL ready. You can put him on the roster next year.
And let's say
it sounds like they wanted more than that.
To make salaries match, throw in expiring Alex Tuck, right?
Sure. No. I'm still trying to get the deal done with Alex Tuck, so fuck off. We're not doing that.
So I'm just going to tell you, if I was the Blues, I would then slowly hang up the phone.
I offered you a first. I'll do a first and a second. I'll offer you two good picks, an NHL player who's ready now, who is a solid like third line player, and I'm giving you Constance Helenius, it played very well when he came up and looks like he's going to be a top 6 player.
Okay, but I'm not retaining on Robert Thomas then.
Fine. You don't have to retain on Robert Thomas, send him away. I feel like that's the deal right there, but it sounds like they were like, we want like 2 first, your best prospect, your best player. You're like it sounded like
naked pictures of your wife. Yeah.
Yeah. From the reports were like they wanted a return for like a first, Helenius, Quinn, Power, like all this shit. And it's like, what are you smoking crack? What do you think this is?
So Justin Falk.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry.
So he's just gonna be on the second pair with Ben Sherratt, right? That's gonna be the whole deal there.
Yeah. And they need a defenseman. They got a defenseman.
But yeah, so they're just gonna do Mo Sider 2.0 with Justin Falk floundering next to Ben Sherratt, who's struggling to get the puck off the wall. But it's better than what they had before, and you still got Mo Sider on the first pair, so I think it's a good bit of business for a team that finally, with Justin Falk, the Yzerplan has fully come into effect. Mike. Geriatric John Carlson to the Anaheim Ducks for a conditional 26th or 27th first and a third. What does this do for the greater good?
1 second. Well,
you want to know what conditions on it?
It was funny. No, yeah, I'm pulling it up right now, but I accidentally
opened. If John Carlson's AARP card expires or not,
comes in. No, it's
I opened a Yerba Mata, which, by the way,
so it's
talent alone / Yerba Mata. I opened a Yerba Mata to drink during the podcast after I finished my coffee, and I gotta tell you, this sucks. This is terrible. It is so bad.
It's terrible. Go to yerbamata.org and put in the promo code
talent alone. I wonder if we can get like a grassroots movement going where we can get enough people to put in a discount code that doesn't work for them to reach out to us.
They have to call us, but we keep in this discount code so we just do it. The condition on that first round pick in the Carlson trade was if Anaheim fails to qualify for the 2026 playoffs, they have the option to retain its 2026 first and send its 2027 second instead. So conditional first and that third for Carlson. It is a good representation of how lukewarm and, dare I say, underwhelming this trade deadline was. That like the Carlson deal was probably the one I heard the most talk, like people being like, "Whoa, John Carlson,
the captain!" The captain?
Yeah. He's been there since like 1982, and honestly, like John Carlson is still a very good defenseman. Like, don't get me wrong, I still like John Carlson, but he's 36.
11th in the league in points and 11th in the league in expected goals.
Yeah, he's 36, so his career is winding down over the course of the next 3 to 4 years, probably.
I like the Anaheim roster building strategy of everyone is going to be 3 or 300. Like, they don't have any guys that are like 29 years old. It's like everyone on their roster is either on like their entry level contract or just, start getting those birthday cards in the mail that have like a picture of the Grim Reaper on it, be like, you're going to die soon.
And really, I think once again, like the Ducks are in the position where they're like, hey, we got to get to the playoffs, dude. Like, we've been rebuilding for years. What?
They could win the Pacific.
Yeah, in a dog shit Pacific where they could win. Like, we got to go for it. And so that was a good move on their part to go ahead and take a swing to bring in a good defenseman who, he's old and he's only going to have so many years left. But also there is, I think part of the reason where they're like, hey, you're either going to be super young, you're going to be super old, is like, hey, let's put some vets around the super young guys. Yeah. And also the Caps, Carlson is a notable loss, but they have some good depth, I think, on their defensive line. So it's like, that sucks to lose Carlson, but we were able to pull in a first for him.
Yeah. I think that this is a sign about the direction of the Caps, which is more interesting than anything. And mostly, it's the most interesting from a Ovechkin perspective, where what's going to happen now. I don't know if you saw the press conference he did after the trade, but he looked like legitimately distraught that Carlson was out the door.
I mean, Carlson's been there for his entire NHL career so far. He was there when they hoisted the cup 1 billion years ago, it feels like now.
When he was only 31 years old. Carlson, he's not a fucking two-way Norris superstar, right? He's not Mo Sider anymore. But what he is still like a good offensive piece. Like I said, 11th in the league, or 11th amongst defensemen in points. He's tied with Jackson Lacombe in terms of assists, and Lacombe leads the Ducks in assists. And mind you, Carlson has played 7 less games than Lacombe. So he has the same amount of assists in 7 less games. And now he's going to a team that wants to win every game 7-5 with Dostal doing all the work. So they've added a guy who can move the puck up. He can get it to the forwards who are scoring goals like it's fucking 1988. And they can do the work. And I think that it's a good spot for Carlson. It's a good return for the Capitals. This is just a classic win-win trade. Makes sense for both teams.
Yeah.
I could easily see this working out great, and I could also see Karlsson kind of flaming out because he's old in the playoffs like he did last year or 2 years ago, whenever that was, and decide to retire in the offseason.
And I do have to give props to Washington, because I feel like they've done a good job the last couple of years. They didn't get over invested in how well last year went, make the playoffs, and start making crazy moves and emptying the cupboard. They've still been very reserved. They've spent their cap space where they can, but when it comes to trades, they haven't gotten crazy. And even like this move here, it's like, hey, they're 4 points out of the wild card, but the teams ahead of them have 2 games in hand. So it's like, hey, we still have a shot. It doesn't look great. Let's move Karlsson, get some pieces for the future, and if we're able to sneak in, great, awesome. We kept going, but let's not get crazy and think like, oh, let's make a crazy move and empty everything for these players and then still miss the playoff and be fucked going forward.
And really, what could they really trade anyways? Like they're the opposite of Anaheim, where everyone on their team is 29 or 37.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're trying to get Robert Thomas, you take in Pierre-Luc Dubois, Tom Wilson, and a 2027 first.
I think so, yeah.
Mike, the Blackhawks are once again sellers. They traded Nick Foligno, Connor Murphy, Jason Dickinson, Colton Dock, and Adrian Thompson. Some of those not on deadline day, but you know what I mean. What does this do for the greater good?
Well, it's big because 2 of the trades that hit at the very end or after that 2:00 that the news broke were for future considerations. So shout out to future considerations. Getting moved once again. The only move that really sticks out to me is going to be that Nick Foligno move. Obviously, he's not the player he once was, but you bring on a dare I say, you bring on a veteran who's a leader. You can put him on the roster. Because it felt like throughout this trade deadline, what?
In Minnesota?
Yeah. And it felt like during this trade deadline, Minnesota was very like, we got to get some pieces to try to compete in this West right now. Because Dallas, up until last night, was on a 10-game heater. Colorado is a fucking Death Star. Like, we got to do something. And they did. And I think Foligno was a good piece. He can play with his brother Marcus. And as we saw in the Olympics, teams with brothers win gold.
I heard a theory I liked a lot where someone said, do you think that this trade is actually like playing 10-level chess because they're trying to get Quinn Hughes to look at that and go, it'd be a lot of fun to play with my brother. Maybe I should convince Jack Hughes to come to Minnesota.
And I feel like for years now, for years, but like I think a obvious issue, and you can look at all the numbers and it shows it with Minnesota, is like, hey, we need fucking depth, dude. we got Krill and Boldy stuffing the net on a nightly basis, and then it's like everybody else. So add some depth as a veteran. I like the move for them. Chicago got some solid pieces.
Some of their depth isn't going to do much. Well, they had Michael McCarron, Robbie Brink, Jeff Petrie, Robbie Fabry, and Nick Foligno.
I do want to apologize. I just said that they got some nice pieces when it still says future considerations, so I lied.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, okay, the Blackhawks once again are trading out young pieces with Doc and Murphy. And old pieces.
They're young pieces, but what are they going to be turned into? Like, what are we really thinking?
At some point, you can't just say. I mean, look at them. They're getting fucking lapped by San Jose, man. They're getting fucking lapped by Anaheim.
I will say they are still in. It is a little concerning at this point where they should be trying to build towards getting back to the playoffs. They got Bedard, they got Nazar, they got some quality studs, and they should be building to get back into the playoffs. That this trade deadline, they were kind of still in like, we'll take your bad contracts. Like the Mangiapane deal, most notably with Edmonton. It was like, hey, we'll take your bad contracts. Cool.
Is Mangiapane the guy who hit the age cliff earliest in the NHL?
He might have been.
Isn't he like 29? Yeah, and it's like
no. What he did is he played on a Avs team with Flames team with Johnny Gaudreau and Matthew Tkachuk, and who were having phenomenal years, and then all of a sudden he wasn't playing with them, and shit changed fast.
Let's see. His last year in Calgary, 2023-2024, he had 40 points. Before that, 43 points, 55 points. Since then, since his last year in Calgary, 40 points his last year, remember that, he has had a grand total in his NHL career of 42 points. So he, in 2 seasons, has narrowly outscored his last season in Calgary.
Yeah, and he also, I know he was dealing with injuries going into this year and missed a chunk of time, but still.
He's played 52 games, Mike. It's not like he's...
That's true. That's
good.
It's
not like he's played 11 games.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they didn't really add anything there. I don't really know what Chicago's doing.
They just saw that Celebrini not only made the Olympic cut over Bedard, but also turned into like the Olympic MVP if Canada had won, which they didn't, obviously, so he didn't win it.
Right. I mean, unless...
And they just went, well, I guess Bedard's not it, so I guess we're just going to punt on this rebuild and try again with Gavin McKenna.
Maybe that's what it is. Let's get McKenna and add him to this because, Bedard, Nazar, a couple good young guys.
No, that's about it.
Line-wise.
Bedard and Nazar.
That's it.
That's really it.
They have so many
Spencer
journeyman veterans at the wing, like Burakovsky, Teravainen, Donato, Bertuzzi. That Matt Grzelcyk on the blue line, who damn, Buffalo, make a call for Matt Grzelcyk.
Can someone explain to me
Grzelcyk,
how, I swear to you, Bertuzzi got traded off Chicago last year? How is he on this team?
Was he get traded off Chicago?
Did he not get traded?
Bertuzzi, I remember he was Boston to Toronto. He was in Toronto last year, right? Or it may have been the year before he was in Toronto. I can't remember. He went to Toronto on a 1-year deal at one point. It was either last season or the season before. I think it was season before, actually.
If I'm Tyler Bertuzzi, I'm going to start getting a little pissed about how far down the lineup I'm playing on the fucking Chicago. I'm going to trade for Andrew Mangiapane's contract Blackhawks.
You're Chicago. What do you expect? What, you think things were going to go great there? Sorry.
But shout outs to the one, the only, currently on IR, or maybe he's just hurt, but Spencer Knight, real one, Spencer Knight. That's really the star of the Chicago Blackhawks, not too small Connor Bedard.
Yeah.
Mike, we mentioned them a second ago, but let's talk about Minnesota. The Minnesota Wild. In reality, their big trade, Quinn Hughes, but at the deadline they had Michael McCarron, Bobby Brink, Jeff Petrie, Robbie Fabry, and Nicholas Foligno. On the way out the door, over the total of the season, Marco Rossi, Zeev Bynum, Liam Ogren, David Urich, Vinny Hinostras, a 2026 first, a 2026 seventh, and a 2028 second.
I think, I like the Bobby Brink edition. I like some of the moves Minnesota made. I think it was clearly we have to find a way to stay competitive in a West that is not the Pacific, but the Central has, Colorado and
the
Dallas,
3 best teams in the NHL. Yeah,
exactly. So we got to do something to keep pace. Maybe Bobby Brink could be a good piece in trying to add some defensive scoring, or at least some defensive puck, or not defensive, some secondary scoring, or puck movement that can open up other guys. I mean, down
just remaking their whole bottom 6 in general, I think was with guys that can score goals. I mean, like Robbie Fabry is no slunk. What's the word I'm looking for there? What's a
slouch?
Slouch. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Robbie Fabry is no slouch in terms of putting pucks in nets.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any other Minnesota Wild thoughts? Or good job, Minnesota Wild. Hey, Mike, I got a hot take for you. The team that traded for Quinn Hughes.
Mm-hmm.
Thumbs up to that team. Good
job.
Job. Thumbs up.
They made some good depth moves down the line. In a perfect world, they would have called and somehow found a way to add Robert Thomas. If they added Robert Thomas to the team, I'd been like, fucking watch out, Colorado and Dallas.
Or what if they added prime Wayne Gretzky?
That would also be really good.
What are we doing?
I wonder if they called about the Stammer, because he was eventually allegedly Nashville was getting calls about Stamkos. I was surprised they didn't find a deal for him.
Were they getting calls from Stamkos about Stamkos?
No, just
Who was calling about Stamkos?
Such recency bias.
He's old, man. It's sports.
Disgusting.
It's
but you can
sports.
if
I
you're a
love Steven
contending
Stamkos. I was a huge fan of those not wild teams, those lightning teams. But it's fucking Steven. Okay, he's gonna play a fourth line winger and score 6 goals the rest of the way, and we're gonna be like, Steven Stamkos.
Right, but like, why did Edmonton want Corey Perry and then now Tampa wanted to bring him back? It's because like that dude used to be like a top 6 dude, and yeah, we're gonna play him in the bottom 6, but still,
I would like you to never
have him in the bottom 6.
Never use Edmonton as an example of good roster construction.
Fair point. I wonder if the Lightning like put out a memo before they made the trade to all their players. They're like, "Tell your moms not to come to the games anymore." We traded for Corey Perry.
Or we're sorry, we're going to lose in the Stanley Cup final now. We traded for Corey Perry.
He only loses.
He's
like he's the anti DJ Khaled.
Because all he does is win, and also Corey Perry does go down.
All he does is lose.
Corey Perry takes a knee. He's into cunnilingus, but only on other players' moms, as we all know. Mike, staying in the Central, the Stars sort of replaced Tyler Seguin. What does this do for the greater good?
Dude, the Dallas Stars had a pretty good trade deadline, I think.
Michael Bunting and Tyler Myers does a lot for you.
I mean, Tyler Myers adds to like an area I think they needed to add players to, which is their blue line. So I like that.
You thought they needed to add players to their blue line.
Yeah.
You looked at the Stars blue line and said, this sucks.
I don't understand what your point is. I feel like they needed another dude on their blue line.
I mean, like, yeah, sure, they could use another guy. But
Esa Lindell,
Miro Heiskanen, Niels Lundqvist, Thomas Harley. Ilya Lyubushkin is on their third pairing.
Yeah, I mean, I love Bush. I love me some Ilya Lyubushkin. He played a year in Buffalo, and I love him. But I still think it was adding a good piece for their blue line. And Michael Bunting, I will say, I'm not the biggest. How do I put this? Not the biggest Michael Bunting guy, but I respect the game that he plays and where he's like, I'm going to get in front of the net. So all the goals on my stat sheet are going to be tips off of really nice shots by other players, or, rebounds where I can just like chip them in and not really have to do anything. That's been Michael Bunting's career, and he's going to a team with a lot of dudes who can put him in a position to do that, if that makes sense.
I will say, Michael Bunting once finished third for the Calder Trophy.
And he was like 27 at the time.
He was like 27 at the time.
Yeah.
And he finished behind Trevor Zegras and Mo Seider. But I think Michael Bunting's a better move for them, I think, than Tyler Myers. Yeah. Tyler Myers, they're like, we really need a left shot defenseman. Because we only have 7 quality defensemen and we need 8. God damn it!
I feel like it was a good move. And like the Bunting thing, they're gonna tell him like, hey, get to the net and put your stick up, and then Robertson, Wyatt Johnson, Rantanen, they're literally going to hit your stick so you can tip it in.
Yeah, was Chris Kreider, did he just not pick up the phone in time? Like if they were just going to get a guy stand in front of the net and tip in pucks?
I guess not. He's a garbage goal scorer, but goddamn, he can score the garbage goals.
Oh my God. So we're moving, I should say, in the middle of this podcast, which is the perfect time to announce news for your YouTube channel. We're moving the NHL for the rest of the season to a weekly podcast format instead of a bi-weekly.
Sure.
Will we have time to fit in there the garbage goal scorer all-stars? Like who leads the league in like rebounds and tips and empty netters?
Who was it? Oh, I remember the one offseason, this was obviously like over 10 years ago, the Sabres made this like dropped cash money, big time money for Ville Leno, who had a bunch of goals the previous year for Philadelphia. And I was like, what are you doing? Like, watch the tape. He scored most of his goals by just standing in front of the net with his stick at his waist. Like, the dude can't score a goal on his own.
That's it's like when someone trades for a defenseman who has a lot of points, and you're like, those are all secondary assists. Those are all hockey assists. By the way, I think those kind of garbage goal scorers are like, they're valuable to have on the team. But at the time we paid Ville Leno like top 6 money, and he was not a top 6 player. I'm going to read you the top 10 in empty net goals. You tell me if any of these guys are on the garbage goal scorer all-stars.
Mm-hmm.
Kirill
Yeah.
Kaprizov. Yes or no?
No.
Okay.
He's legit.
Jordan Eberle. 22 goals, 5 of them empty.
Yeah.
Called
Oh,
Jordan
you love him?
Eberle a garbage goal scorer.
He's a garbage goal scorer.
Yeah, he has one of the highest percentages here. Nikita Kucherov.
Down. The Cooch. No, dude. Cooch is a Hart caliber player.
Nathan McKinnon.
No, I'm not going to say anything disparaging. Except, I will say, game on the line, wide open net, in international play, he really fucks the dog, apparently.
Now we're getting into the hard ones here. I would say 4 of the final 6 are questionable ones. All right, Mike. 2025-2026. That's the year of our Lord we're currently in. Alex Ovechkin. 5 empty net goals, 24 total goals on the season.
Nah, he's not a garbage goal scorer. He's just old.
Okay. Okay. Speaking of old, Steven Stamkos. 5 empty net goals, 30 goals scored on the season.
Nah, not a garbage goal scorer.
All right. All right. I'm going to disagree with you if you say yes on this one, but leading the defenseman, Brandon Hagel.
Oh, yeah, I give him that. Yeah, you're fair.
28 goals, 5 of them empty net goals.
Disgusting.
Matt Boldy. Gold medalist Matt Boldy.
Fuck yeah.
Calling him a garbage goal scorer?
Hell no.
Okay, Mike, here's, I want your honest intellectual analysis on this next one.
Yeah.
Peyton Krebs.
No, dude. Peyton Krebs is such a dog. Like, I don't know if he'll be on the roster next year. He's an RFA. Yeah.
9 goals. 9 goals. 5 of them are empty net goals.
Okay. So I will say, goal scoring wise, yeah, he's a garbage goal scorer. His value is in the other shit he does when you watch them play.
There's some potential. We have some potential with the garbage goal scorer all-stars in the future.
Yeah.
Back to the trade deadline, Mike. Let's move wester. Let's go further west.
Further
The
west.
Edmonton Oilers shuffle a bunch of cups of water and try to pretend that one is greater than another.
Yeah.
What does this do for the greater
list
good?
off the moves. I don't care. Like, this team is so mismanaged. The only thing they did good management-wise over the last, 15 to 20 years is sucking for a long stretch of time and getting all these top picks. And then a ping pong ball fell in their favor because draft lotteries are the dumbest thing on the planet, and they got
3
the greatest
ping pong
player
balls.
in the game. What?
3 ping pong balls.
3
fell
ping
in their
pong balls
favor.
to be exact. At least a couple of those ping pong balls, they actually were one of the worst teams in the league, like bottom 1 or 2. But still, and they got the best player in the world in Connor McDavid, and they still can't figure it out. And you could sit here like, they made it to the Cup Finals 2 years in a row. Yeah, they didn't fucking win it though. And why do you think that is? Because this team has been in a years-long search for any semblance of depth scoring, depth defensemen, goaltending. Constantly goaltending, and the only thing, there should be a group, and it would be called a support group for teams with great players who can't get a fucking goaltender, and it would be 2 people, Edmonton and Toronto, and they'd be there crying on each other's shoulders.
Okay, well, I need to refute some things you said there because you said a lot, and a lot of it I agree with. First off, imagine this podcast, this website, I dare say, is founded on the core tenets of us yelling about Edmonton trading for a fucking goalie.
Where? Okay, go ahead.
And imagine if on September 1st, I had gone to you, and my eyes had been rolled in the back of my head, and all my hair had turned white and fallen out, and I went, Mike, I can see the future, and I can tell you that the Edmonton Oilers are going to trade away Stuart Skinner for a new goalie, and that goalie will be worse than Stuart Skinner.
Yes! I'm not surprised. So I pulled up the picture the screenshot because I sent it to you the other day that someone tweeted out, is that this season, the Oilers have sent out a 27 first and third, a 28 second, a 29 second, Stuart Skinner, Brent Kulak, and Andrew Mangiapane. They added Spencer Stastny, Tristan Yari, Sam Poulin, Connor Murphy, Jason Dickinson, and Colton Dock. This team is so, I don't know how Stan Bowman still has a job there. At the end of the year, I should say, if he's not let go, I don't get what they're doing. And also, guess he's done. McDavid's out. He's gone. You've lost him. You have lost him.
He just signed a 3-year extension. You got 2 more years of him.
He's gone. He's going to say, hey, I want the fuck out. Get me out. I can't do it anymore. If he doesn't, then I guess I'll say, if he doesn't, I guess his top priority is just, making him good money, which by the way, I fault no player for being hey, I look at this as a business and I want to make the most money I can.
Right.
Like, shout out Myles Garrett, you liar. That's why you signed that deal with
Yeah,
Cleveland 2 years
absolutely.
ago.
Absolutely.
All the power to you. I think that is a totally fine reason. Some dudes are very like, money's great, but I'm just like, I got to win. I'm very competitive. I thought McDavid was the other. If he doesn't say I want the fuck out, he looks angry. Every game I watch of Edmonton, he just looks pissed all the time. Him and Draisaitl look like they're fucking miserable. I'm sorry, I'm fired up. I'm sorry. Such a joke.
If I can refute one more thing that you said in your rant, not that rant, the previous rant, you said that there would be two fan bases who would be sitting there going, we have generational players and we can't get a goaltender to make a save. If I just gave you the entire collection of all of the goaltenders that Edmonton has had in the Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl prime era, like the last 4 or 5 years, and then I just said you could trade all these guys for Anthony Stolarz, you would absolutely take Stolarz over those guys.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Do we just end the podcast there? I don't know if we could top that.
Funny thing is,
I don't know if we could top
funny
that
thing
yelling about the Edmonton Oilers again.
the crazy thing is the Oilers are at like a tipping point, and with some of the top guys they have, with McDavid and Draisaitl, let's just say it, and not being able to bring home the cup, they're at like a tipping point. And ironically enough, this was their worst trade deadline. They've done better in past years in trying to add some sort of pieces. This was the worst one. You want to know why? Because they have nothing left to give because they've moved all that out.
They moved all of it out for Connor Murphy, Jason Dickinson, Colton Dock, Tristan Jarry early in the season, obviously, and Samuel Poulin.
Not even Kirby Doc. I'd rather Kirby Doc than Colton Dock.
Oh, I mean, absolutely. I'd rather Kirby Doc than Colton Doc.
What are you doing?
Why not just keep Mangiapane? I mean,
and hope he gets it going.
Yeah, I hope. Just what if he just starts shooting 14%?
They just desperately wanted to get off the contract. Like, that's the crazy. Like, if I was Edmonton, I'd be like, God, we want to get this contract, but in order to do it, we're gonna have to give up a first with it. I'd just be like, oh fuck it, just keep it and hope he gets it going, and we'll see what and we'll see what we can do come the off season. But no, they were so desperate to get rid of Mangiapane and get that contract off the books now at the deadline that they gave up a first round pick to do it.
I also don't know why they traded away Brett
Dan
Kulak.
Bowman.
Like, I don't
and the Oilers are a joke.
I don't think Brett Kulak is like fucking Bobby Orr or anything like that. But like he was a productive defensive defenseman. He's older and slow, but like he could play defense, man. Anyways, Mike, the Montreal Canadiens do nothing. What does this mean for the greater good?
It means that they were very happy with the team they got and the position they were in.
They were reportedly in on a bunch of trades and just couldn't get them pushed over.
And they just failed.
Yeah.
Part of the reason, like what I could see them, why the trades they were in on didn't work out is because they're a very young team with a lot of talent. And there's probably teams who are like, yeah, if you want this, but you're going to have to give up talented young piece A, B, or C. And they were like, no, we don't want to do it. So I would actually give the Canadiens credit for not overreacting and moving out one of their future tenants and flag posts for that. Because I still think like great days are ahead. Use your cap space come the off season and then make your moves. If it's not there at the trade deadline, don't push it. Don't push it.
I couldn't have said it better myself, Mike. The Islanders buy in and go for a playoff
big
push.
Moves.
What does it mean for the greater good?
One of the most notable moves after the 3 p.m. deadline was, hey, something's cooking here. Islanders and the Blues, or not the Blues.
Well, now you got me.
Braden Shen is the point.
Yeah.
Blues.
That's
the Blues.
What do you mean?
Is the Blues? Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know why I thought I was going crazy.
You really fucked me up there for a second. I'm like, wait, I thought Braden Shen was on the Blues.
Yeah, they were like, hey, Buffalo messed up during their trade. They thought they were getting Braden Shen, and instead they got Luke Shen. So he's available still. Let's go get him. And that's a good piece of business to bring in Braden Shen to have on your team, even if it's bottom 6 at this point or whatever. He's played very well. Grabbed a captain, a lot of experience. I'm all for that. It was a good move by the Islanders, who honestly are having a ahead of schedule season. I don't think in the grand scheme of things, they were thinking this is the year we get back in the playoffs. They were probably thinking another year or two down the line. So go ahead, make a good move, to as a lot of guys say it, they're like, hey, your team's playing good, you're in a playoff position. They say it's about bad teams who are about to like get back in the playoffs. And they're like, your guys are playing really good. You owe it to them to reward them by making a move, to invest in their chance to get back into the playoffs. This is what that felt like.
While we're talking about teams that didn't move anyone out that it seems like they should have, let's just throw in the New Jersey Devils and the New York Rangers here. The Devils do not move out Hamilton or Sam Nemec.
Mm-hmm.
The Rangers do not move out Vincent Trocheck.
You know, after like the Parayko deal fell through, I was like, hey, Buffalo, if you want like a defenseman, like call about Nemec. Maybe Nemec, maybe their asking price was too high, and that's why if we did call, we may have not, but I don't know what their asking price was. But like he would have been he's young, he's playing well. I'm sure he has his deficiencies, but he's still very good. So I'm surprised New Jersey moved no one out, because I feel like New Jersey come deadline day would have either looked in the mirror and be like, hey, are we going to make additions? Which are not even really, when you look at where they're standings. I feel like New Jersey was going to go in and be like, hey, time to sell off some pieces, because this team we have is obviously not working. This
and also like I don't know if this was like ownership hamstringing them, but this was absolutely Tom Fitzgerald waving the white flag. He's out, right? The GM of the New Jersey Devils. He didn't get the Quinn Hughes trade done. The team is completely fallen apart. He acquired Markstrom in the offseason, and that's been like okay, but not great. And you've wasted another year of Olympic gold medalist Jack Hughes.
Yeah, not even just you wasted a year of Jack Hughes, you wasted a year of Nico Herscher.
I mean, like a pretty good core, or what was supposed to be. I mean, obviously they move out Palat as well this year, but
right. And
just 2 seasons ago, when they got like this whole core together with Dougie Hamilton, Andres Palat, Nico Heischer, Timo Meier, it looked like this team was going to like be really good. And they had one playoff series win for it.
Yeah, they went out and got Siegenthaler too to try to load up. And Dougie's another piece who there was a lot of trade rumors around him. And he's another guy who I thought the Sabres might look at, but he does have term left on that contract. So I bet you anybody who called about Dougie were like, hey, you got to retain. And the Devils were like, we don't want to do that.
Yeah. Let me see. So no, I mean, I said they got one playoff. Yeah, so they got one playoff round win out of it in 2022-23. That's it. That's what they had to show for this era. This guy, it looks like people wanted to chant to have him fired. Interesting.
What was his name?
Lindy Ruff? Is that
Lindy fucking Ruff? And it's almost like he wasn't the problem.
Yeah, it turns out it was Jonas Siegenthaler. That was the problem.
Yeah.
It was Andres Palat's contract. That's why this team couldn't do shit.
I think it was, and I think who were they starting there? Like Akira Schmid was starting half their games.
Yeah. Schmid was their starting goaltender at 21-22 or 22-23. Oh God. Mike, the Maple Leafs teardown. What does this do for the greater good?
They moved out McCann,
Nick Waugh, Bob McCann,
and
Scott Lawton. Scott Lawton hilariously moved out
it's not
what's up?
It's not Lofton. I think it's Lofton.
No, it's Lawton.
It's Lawton.
It's a lot. But they traded a 2027 first for Lawton last year, and this year traded got a 3rd round pick in return for him. So good job, Maple Leafs.
The Avs were looking for depth down their center, and so they were willing to give up a first for Nick Waugh. So I'm cool with that for Toronto. Yeah. The condition is if the Colorado's 2027 is in the top 10, then instead the Maple Leafs get an unprotected 28. And then there was a condition on the 5th round pick. It's just that Toronto receives whatever the lowest of those 3 5th round picks are in 2026. Which I think it's funny that Colorado, in the position there is, was like, we got to put a condition on that 5th. You know, you can't just give any 5th. There's got to be a condition on that.
You're just stunting on them. You're just showing off at that point.
Right. You're just being a dick at that point and showing how mismanaged the Maple Leafs have been for years. So, but I will say that's a good get for them for basically like, you know, a bottom 6 4th line center, which is what the Avs felt like they needed. The other move, Bobby McCann, which was very late in the deal, went out to Seattle, who made some trades to make a push there. They got a 2nd and a 4th, solid, and then Scott Lofton got him a 3rd. No players coming back in all those deals is interesting. But yeah,
I think that speaks volumes about what
it
Toronto
was-
sees about their current core.
yeah. I mean, they're 8 points out, so mathematically it was already shown we're not getting in the playoffs. But this felt like the front office, for once, being smart and realizing that and saying, let's move depth guys out that we don't see like being impactful in the future and get some picks. And even if those picks aren't picks we're making going forward, that's still a good thing.
I don't think I have anything to add. I think that you're completely right there.
But still, despite all those compliments, fuck you, Toronto. Go ahead.
Only a couple more teams I really want to talk about here because we basically hit on everyone else. Real quick, the Utah Mammoth add Mackenzie Weegar. Any thoughts on that?
No, that was good. That was a good addition by them and a good haul by Calgary, who for some reason they were like, hey, you know what? We're going to rebuild this team strictly by trading away all of our defensemen.
Yeah.
That's the goal, baby.
Vancouver doesn't move anyone important out.
Which we think they would. Vancouver is in a perpetual state of, what the fuck are we doing? Are we rebuilding? Are we doing something? Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, on the season, they traded away Quinn Hughes, Kiefer Sherwood, Tyler Myers, Connor Garland, Lucas Reichel, and David Kampf. But
right. I guess
noticing a few notable names that aren't on that list.
Is that, but the problem is with Pettersson is
who's going to take
what
the
they
contract?
could have, right? What they could have gotten once, they're not going to get anything close to it. Anybody who calls about Pettersson is, hey, you're retaining a good chunk, and I'm going to give you a 7th and a few free tickets to our home games. That's about it.
Sean McIndoe, when talking about Vancouver, was like, it doesn't matter what you're going to get something because the value might only go down. And if he goes to a different team, has a change of scenery, and suddenly turns back into a point-a-game guy, then you go, good for him, and just enjoy your 3rd-round pick you get or whatever.
Right.
But
just take what you can get at this point.
Just take what you can get, man. If they trade him during the offseason for, like, Jonas Siegenthaler and a 5th, then I think right now we need to remember us saying this, and instead of going, that's all you got for Elias Pettersson, just go, hey, good job. You got him off the books.
Right, you got something. And like it's sunk cost fallacy.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. Should we just call this a Jonas Siegenthaler cast? We've mentioned him like 6 times in the last 5 minutes.
Yeah. I know to Kiefer, he got an extension, I believe.
Oh, did he? Oh, did he now?
I think so.
Now? Oh, did he?
There was a couple extensions that happened, like either leading up to or the day of the deadline, where I was like, weird time to do it. And usually, this isn't the news that usually breaks, but good for those guys.
Last one that I really want to talk about here. I should say Vegas doesn't really make a move. That's surprising, but what
you got Nick Dowd. How dare you?
Yeah, sure. Winnipeg. We've already kind of talked about all their moves, but they traded Logan Stanley and Luke Shin to Buffalo. They brought back in some prospects and players, and
fun.
Not bad. Good work for Winnipeg. Also recognizing where you are. You still have some people that are worth liking, and it's a real down year. But way to not say, we'll be back next year, and let's just sit on our balls with the way that the Devils did.
Kept their top guys, hoping they can kind of like retool over the offseason and go from there. And like Byram's contract comes off the books. You got Isaac Rosen, who maybe with you give him playing time and he actually hits his potential ceiling that scouts saw. Great,
real quick,
nice job.
Just want to make sure that I'm following you correct. You said Rosen. Did you mean Bryson? Or you said Byram. Did you mean Bryson?
I meant Bryson. I'm sorry. Yeah, Bryson.
Yeah. Just make sure.
Rosen, it's like, hey, he hits the ceiling with us. We nailed it. If not, it's like, what are you gonna do? He's cheap, and we'll just move on from him. Yeah. They got a conditional first in the Kadri deal, which we already talked about. Like, I thought for a team that's obviously missing the playoffs, they had a pretty good trade deadline.
And Logan Stanley's a pending UFA, so they traded a guy that could just walk for something. Yeah, they got
Buffalo.
They got something.
They brought in 2 depth defensemen basically just to help them in the playoffs if they need them, or if there's injuries and they need them, and they're both off the books at the end of the year, which frees up space because we got to figure out this Tuck contract somehow.
Or you could have traded him. I don't know why you're insisting that you have to figure out this contract.
Unless we had the backdoor deal with Tuck, like we already had the contract set, and they're like, hey, we're gonna trade you, but come off season, don't resign. We're gonna bring you back. Then I'd be like, all right, go for it.
You think if I made my Tinder profile, I'm searching for the backdoor deal, that would do well for me, or no?
So you probably do well, but and they would not understand what you're expecting.
Well, what's really gonna surprise them is when I show up and I start talking about Alex Tuck. I don't see that coming at all.
They're like, oh, I'm gonna tuck it. I'm gonna tuck it for the backdoor deal, brother.
Mike, that's all I got for the trade deadline. Is there anything I missed that we have to talk about?
Ryan Strome. No, I'm just kidding. No, I think you hit all the big ones. I can't think of any other notable trade by like good teams. Were all like very similar, like complete depth. It was a letdown of a trade deadline. I will say that.
What do you mean, Nazem Kadri? Everyone's losing their fucking mind over it.
Robert Thomas is still there. Like a lot of players that are like they didn't move. That's a bummer.
Yeah, for the league next year when we get to this point, I'm gonna need Edmonton to trade away Connor McDavid.
Didn't mention Connor Garland.
You got Connor Garland thoughts?
I mean, I thought it was a good pickup for the Blues. That's all.
All right, there you go.
Or Blue Jackets, not the Blues, who are fighting for a playoff spot. Solid addition.
Mike.
Adam hates Connor Garland. You heard it here first.
I mean, Connor Garland's whatever. He's Tanner Janot.
He's bottom six forward.
Yeah. At least he's treated like it, though. Mike.
He plays like it, too. Yeah, treated like he played like it.
It is becoming imminent that the Buffalo Sabres are not only going to break their playoff drought.
It's over, buddy.
And make it to the playoffs for the first time in 15 years. But now they are within. Well, they're tied. But the Lightning do have 2 games in hand. But they are now tied with the Tampa Bay Lightning for the lead of the Atlantic Division. Normally, I would really couch that and be like, well, they're tied, and the Lightning have 2 games in hand. But they did just less than a week ago absolutely gas the Lightning out of the building.
We did. Vasi's been a little rusty coming out of the break. That team in general has been a little rusty coming out of the break. So
yes. But Mike, it's time for us to talk about these Buffalo Sabres and how much should we take them seriously as a contender now?
Seriously. I'm biased, so I'm trying not to get too ahead of myself. It is funny how quickly it goes from like, for me personally, how quickly it goes from like, awesome, we're gonna break the drought, we're getting to the playoffs, to like, we could win the cup, bro. They're just playing.
All it takes is a good shooting percentage and a hot goalie.
Yeah, we're getting like the best seasons of their career out of Alex Lyon and UPL, and just playing really good hockey as a team right now. Like watching this team my whole life, and during the dark days of this playoff drought, seeing their puck movement now has been like unreal. Like we haven't seen it in years and years and years. The way they're able to move the puck, win battles on the boards, maintain possession. I mean, really, my one gripe with them right now, or my one negative, is our power play sucks. Our power play is not good. Terrible.
Luke Shen is going to fix that.
Yeah, we'll see. So that's like their big negative right now. Other than that, they've been playing since like they got hot very end of December going into January. They've been playing the best hockey in the NHL next to a couple other teams.
Yeah, they had a stretch where they were like 25-5-2 or something like that. Like they had an outrageous stretch.
Oh, trust me, I follow all the like Sabres reporters and Sabre-centrics accounts, and they constantly like tweet out like their record since that winning stretch happened, and it's just real. Well, I mean, one of their winning streaks, they're on another one. Everybody was like, some people thought like, oh no, they were hot and they have to, the Olympic break comes, maybe that could be bad for them. Nah, we're too legit, Adam. So he just came out, won 5 in a row, just embarrassed the entire state of Florida, embarrassed them, beat Florida, dominated the Tampa Bay Lightning.
By the way, right now, according to Money Puck, they are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th in terms of odds to make the playoffs at 97.2%. It's that's at this point a foregone conclusion. Mm-hmm. Buffalo is going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, we're 7 points out ahead of the second wildcard spot.
I will say part like you said, part of where they've been surging is Alex Lyon and UPL are just having ridiculous career years at this point. Mm-hmm. And you, as someone who is night in, night out watching the Sabres, here's what I want to know. Is that a step up in goaltending? Is it a step up in scheme? Or is that just the dumb luck of sometimes goalies get hot?
I think in part, it's part Lindy Ruff coaching, his style. And I do think it's part in, as Shorzy constantly told us, goaltenders are fucking weird.
Goaltenders are fucking weird, man.
And so they're playing hot right now when like going into the offseason, no matter how well the season goes, I still think it's an area that the team should be keeping an eye on, because you should never, with the exception of like the tippy top goalies, you should never just think like, oh, that guy's going to do it again next year.
I would say
Always have a contingency plan.
With the exception of Ilya Sorokin, Logan Thompson, I think he's launched himself in that conversation, and Connor Hellebuck. You probably, at this point, shouldn't say. Vasi, not to make a pun out of it, Vasi vacillates.
He does.
He has his peaks and valleys, and I think that Vasi should be your starting goalie who's going to play 50 to 60 games a season until he decides to retire. But he'll have stretches where he's like an $8.99 goaltender.
Yeah, but I feel like whenever anybody questions him, when he's in a slump, whenever anybody questions him, he's just like holds his hand up and shows those 2 rings and slowly brings it down. And they go, oh, okay, you're right.
But I think what I'm saying is I agree with you on that they should keep an eye out for an upgrade. Hopefully, I love to give you shit about this, but hopefully Devin Levi suddenly
I can't believe you said it.
Suddenly becomes the guy. That would solve
I was
a lot
about
for
to
them.
say that, and I did not think you would actually say that. That's funny.
Unfortunately, he's been bad, which doesn't help his case.
Are you watching a lot of Rochester Americans hockey?
Don't need to. I watched enough of him playing on I'm reading here, Buffalo Sabres to know that he has not been good in the NHL.
See how he's doing down there in the minors. Continue without disabling ad blocker.
Let me pull up.
39 games played. He has 1 assist. Just throwing it out there. And he has a 2.75 and a .905 GAA.
So, wait, you said 2.05? What?
2.75 GA and a .905. 0.905 save percentage. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's not great.
But
to be in the AHL.
You have to take. So I will say this: for evaluating AHL goaltenders, you got to look at it. You got to watch some of the tape, and you have to take into account that they're playing with terrible, they're playing with some terrible defensive units in front of them. They're playing with minor league defensive units in front of them. So they have to be hitting a certain standard to get a shot in the NHL.
You do know, right, that they're also playing with minor league forward groups against them. It's not like they're playing with minor league defensive cores in front of them, and then the 2001 Colorado Avalanche on the other side.
Yeah, it's upsetting that is an extremely accurate counterpoint that destroys my argument. It's upsetting to me. Thank you, though.
But we're not here to litigate Devin Levi. He's not playing for the Buffalo Sabres, who are playoff bound.
That's true.
Here's what I want to talk about, Mike. Here's what I want to talk about. Mm-hmm. Don Lusheshin, notable bad podcaster at The Athletic, has a checklist of Stanley Cup, what a Stanley Cup contender needs, right?
Yeah.
Now, there's advanced analytics. We're not going to go into that because this is a podcast and no one wants to hear us go, well, 14.2 offensive rating. But the checklist is an elite core, a supporting core, and a depth core. For each of these things, I just want you to check it off and tell me if Buffalo has these things, okay?
Mm-hmm.
A franchise top-level caliber forward. Doesn't have to be a center, but could be a center or a winger. Yes? And that would be Tage Thompson. Yeah. Behind that, a star forward. A second forward who is good, but would never be like a Art Ross, Rocket Richard guy. Do they have that?
I'm going to say yes.
Who? Who the fuck is that?
You hate Alex Tuck for some reason. I don't know why.
Alex Tuck is good. Alex Tuck would be a great middle six forward.
Tuck.
That's the question. Isn't a combination of people that make up one star forward.
So I think it's Tuck, and then I think it could be, now that he's healthy and back in the lineup, Josh Norris.
Okay, so we're gonna go with the no for star forward.
I said yes. I said yes. Just for the record.
A franchise defenseman.
Yes, obviously.
And Rasmus Dahlin, we would both agree, is a franchise defenseman 2 ways. He is a 200-foot
absolutely
defenseman.
Yeah.
Yes.
We have a great great top 4 defensive unit.
I agree. A shutdown forward, so a defensive depth piece at forward.
Yes, 2 of them.
Who would that be?
Well, we have Owen Power and Matthias Samuelsson, and Matthias Samuelsson all of a sudden found an offensive game this season too.
I can't help but notice neither one of those guys are forwards, which it's a shutdown.
Oh, you said forward. Oh, you said
shutdown
forward. I'm sorry.
Forward. Yeah.
Yeah, we have multiple great two-way forwards, whether it be Alex Tuck once again.
I will give you Alex Tuck has defensive legitimate
Alex Tuck.
case.
Peyton Krebs is two-way, even though he doesn't score a lot of goals, but he's a very good defensive forward. Josh Jones, good two-way. And Jason Zucker. Oh, fucking Zach Benson. He's the most underrated player in all of hockey, is Zach Benson.
Okay,
I stand by that.
I am still not going to give you star forward. I will give you Alex Tuck or Peyton Krebs as a shutdown forward. Those guys are both very good defensively. Okay, a star goalie.
No, none of that.
Yeah. Now,
As good as they're playing. None of that.
Now, I will say, for this checklist, I think you and I can come up with plenty of cases for teams that have won the cup that did not have a star goalie.
Definitely.
The last few have. Obviously, Tampa Bay and Florida have. But the Avs won with Darcy Kemper. So, and mind you, that Avs team was probably better than the Sabres team. But I digress.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I love the Sabres to death, but that roster was ridiculous.
Now, for the Sabres supporting core, a scoring forward who cannot be the same as your franchise forward.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have one of those?
And
who would it be?
I mean, I'm not gonna say Alex Tuck's name anymore because you hate him. No, like
maybe because you overrate him, Mike.
That's while like we for some reason we're like really hampering it on defense at the trade deadline. I was like, hey, we could use some more forwards like in the middle six. That's where we could really use help.
Yes.
I mean, Thompson has 33 goals, Tuck has 25, and then it goes to Josh Doan, who has 18. I do love me some Josh Doan. I think we won the Paterka trade, even though not really. I think it was a tie in the Paterka trade.
Yeah,
we both
it's
came
like
out
a tie
very
so
well.
far.
Yeah, win-win for both teams. But yeah, we could use more scoring down the lineup.
Next up, a scoring defenseman, which I think you guys have two of them. I would say Dahlin, Samuelson, and Bowen Byram all can put pucks in net.
Yeah, they all even if it's not a matter of them putting pucks in net, all three of them have shown an ability to generate offense very well.
Yeah, same with shutdown defensemen. You guys have that just in spades. You have the defensive core in Buffalo is set. No concern about the defensive core. And finally, a support forward. So someone who is a good two-way guy, net rating guy. Once again, I think you guys have a couple of those. Josh Doan, Peyton Krebs.
Yeah,
who
Josh Doan,
isn't
Zucker.
like, obviously he's a garbage goal scorer, but you guys have some good supporting forwards. So the concerns with this team would be the middle six in terms of driving play, a second star forward, think like your Mikko Rantanen style players. Obviously it doesn't have to be Mikko Rantanen tier, but your second guy and a star goalie.
Yeah, like I think like goal scoring wise, like we have 10 guys in double digits, which is pretty good. And we're not having a problem scoring goals right now, but the problem is when you get to the playoffs, things tighten up, and those guys farther down the roster don't get those goals as easily. You can just ask Edmonton last season. Like during the regular season, Edmonton was getting some like good offensive play from these guys down like their bottom six forwards, and then all of a sudden they got into the playoffs and those dudes were just like deer in the headlights, couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah, so who are your concerns? Who are the productive guys on this team that in the back of your head you're a little nervous about what they're going to do in the playoffs?
Like I love Jack Quinn, but he hasn't had the play in the regular season that I think like is going to translate. He only has 12 goals, 26 assists. He has just about as many points as JJ Paterka does, but like him, guys like McLeod, I don't know how much they're going to score in the playoffs, but they offer a lot two-way and what they can do. That's kind of been a big part of this team is that guys who aren't like super talented offensively or have like the world's dangerous shot are able to just win us pucks on the board and create an offensive zone possession has been a big thing. I'm really interested in so like Josh Norris. I know I said earlier, I'm not trying to be obnoxious about it, but like he's played only 24 games. He has 22 points.
Yeah, I think Josh Norris is going to be an important part of this team. Yeah,
if we make a run deep into the playoffs, he will have to be a big part of it for that to happen.
So let's move on to this. Obviously, Buffalo is going to make the playoffs. If the season ended today, their first round matchup would be against the third team in the Atlantic, the Detroit Red Wings. How would you feel in that matchup? You want him with your catchphrase?
That the Detroit Red Wings are bitch made. Every day I look at the standings. I look at them often. Sometimes I stare at them and revel in the Sabres being as high up as they are. But you go to you look at hit the wild card, like the playoff standings, and you're like, man, one of these things sticks out, and it's the Detroit Red Wings still having a negative goal differential.
It is astounding how they continue to have a negative goal differential and are firmly going to make the playoffs.
And also, it's not even like negative goal differential, score a shitload of goals. They've only scored 186 goals.
Yeah. I think the Sabres, I don't have it in front of me, but the Sabres have scored over 200, right?
214.
There you go.
Which is the second most in the East.
Would you rather?
Oh, sorry, third most. Go ahead.
Would you rather? And this is what I cannot emphasize this enough. This is one of those things that we say on podcasts, but should never be a concern as a team. If you're a team and you are a competitive team and you have winning aspirations, go out there to win every night. Don't think about anything else.
Yeah.
But would you rather stay where you are and get a first round matchup against Detroit, or pass Tampa and play the Montreal Canadiens in the first round?
Absolutely pass Tampa.
You think Canadiens are an easier matchup?
It's not no. Detroit's an easier matchup, I think, hands down.
That's what I think too. I think Detroit's an easier matchup.
Yeah, but I think as a team, and as a fan of that team, you want to win as much as you can win, have the most success you can have.
Absolutely.
And to not only have the start to the year we have, and then all of a sudden get in the playoffs, but to then come back and win the division. You know what? I think it's kind of goofy when teams hang division banners. We won this division. No, this time though, hang that fucking banner, Buffalo.
It would be overtaking the best team in the East for that. Yeah.
Second best team.
Behind Buffalo, or?
No, Montreal. Or not Montreal. Carolina has 86 points.
You're taking Carolina over Tampa Bay?
Oh, in a playoff series, no.
7-game series.
Not in a playoff series.
So Tampa Bay is the best team in the East.
In the regular season, though, those Hurricanes can cook.
Okay, in the regular season a couple of years ago, Winnipeg won the President's Trophy.
Yeah. It's kind of nice to see that come back to haunt them, and we all, in the regular season, see how, misconstructed that roster is.
So my final question here, Mike. Give me your prediction. How far do the Sabres make it in the Stanley Cup playoffs?
Fan side of the brain, we win the Stanley Cup.
Okay.
Logical side of the brain?
Yeah.
Not logical, but biased side of the brain, or not biased, unbiased side of the brain. We go to the East Finals.
I think you definitely win one round because I think you're just a better team than Detroit, and neither one of those teams have playoff experience. I'll see how the matchups are after that. Okay. With that, Mike, unless you have any final Sabres thoughts you want to get off your mind, I'll give you 30 seconds if you have any last things you want to say.
No, I talked about them a lot during the trade deadline segment, so I won't, be overbearing.
We could have had a segment that said, hey, let's just talk about Pittsburgh and no one else, and you would have talked about the Sabres. That's what you do here, Mike.
You know what? Funny enough about the Pittsburgh, it reminds me of Buffalo.
With that, Mike, we only have one thing left to do here, and that is team talent alone for the next 5 days, whatever it is. Because once again, we're moving the podcast to a weekly podcast. It's going to be coming out we're going to be recording on Wednesdays. It'll probably be coming out on Thursdays.
Yeah.
So, Mike, did you have any candidates? Because I got a few, but I also always pick these, so I wanted to give you the first shot at picking here.
So we already did the Wild. I've been interested to watch them after their trade deadline.
You can use your bring them back thing. We did the Wild twice, by the way. We had the Wild and extended them an extra week. Okay.
Not past that. We already did the Stars, right?
Nope, we have not done the Stars.
We didn't? So I threw out the Dallas Stars. They just came off a 10-game heater, playing good hockey right now. One team that I've been interested in doing it throughout the season just because they're, finally getting out of the dark days is the Anaheim Ducks.
We already did the Ducks.
Like Ducks I don't want to do the Ducks. We already did them.
Ducks were our second team talent alone after Montreal.
Haven't done the Mammoth yet.
We have not done the Mammoth. We have not done another team I wanted to throw out here, the Tampa Bay Lightning. We have not done the Edmonton Oilers.
Lightning are, interestingly enough, they're on a 4-game losing streak.
They're on a 4-game losing streak. They've also been blown out in every game except their close game against the Hurricanes coming back from the Olympic break.
Yeah, and the Sabres are chasing them, so I'm going to be paying a lot of attention to them anyway.
And
the Lightning aren't a bad choice.
And tomorrow, Lightning at Sabres.
Shit. All right, I think we should do the Lightning.
Okay, so that means that our games we'll be covering are going to be they play the Maple Leafs today. They play the Sabres tomorrow, and they play the Blue Jackets on Tuesday. So those 3 games we'll come back here and discuss on Wednesday.
Oh shit! I see. I didn't. Well, no, they play. Toronto tonight and the Sabres tomorrow. You're right. I'm sorry.
Yes.
I didn't think. I knew we had a matchup with them come April, which I was like, oh, that would be really big or close to them to determine that. I didn't realize we had another game in between that. So they lose to Toronto.
They lose to Buffalo. They
tied.
lose to Columbus. They lose to Detroit. Lose
They
to
lose
the
to
Hurricanes.
Carolina.
Lose to
They
the
lose to
Kraken.
Seattle.
Yeah. Then suddenly Buffalo's got a huge lead in the Atlantic.
Yep. Oh my god! All right, Tampa Bay it is.
Tampa Bay it is.
All
So
right,
we'll be
John
back
Cooper. We're
next
watching.
Wednesday. Next Wednesday to discuss it. You guys will be able to see that on Thursday. Mike, your article will be out before people hear that. That'll be up later today.
Okay, I thought it was so bad you just weren't going to post it for a second.
No, just got busy with other stuff with
Busy?
the
I got
channel.
you, I
So
got you.
yeah, got caught up. So
Yeah.
that'll be coming out later today, probably while this podcast renders. We'll get that up and going. You got any other plugs? Any other things you want to mention on the way out the door here?
Yeah, like I mentioned last week, I've been working on a true or false article for the consensus top prospects at each position for the NFL draft. That should hopefully, based on when I can get it to Adam and he can get it up, probably like maybe end of this week.
I gave a tacit nod.
Tacit, very tacit. Nice word, by the way.
Tacit or nod?
Tacit.
Okay. Yeah, you can obviously check out this podcast on this feed. If you're listening to the audio version of this, we do have a YouTube channel at Talent Alone Podcast, which Mike's dog has his, agrees with that. Where you can listen to our other basket episodes where we talk about basketball, if you're interested in that. Every Monday, we'll be bringing you an NFL episode. And now, like I said, we're bumping up to those weekly hockey episodes starting next week. Actually, technically starting this week. We also stream, so be sure to check out our streams. They're a little bit different, so if you just like hearing us talk, put it on the background, mute it, go post in the chat about which one of us you think would be better at getting that backdoor cover or whatever you were talking about earlier. That's all I got, Mike. Since we don't do shout-outs on here, would you care to guess the last game that the Lightning won by multiple goals?
It was before the Olympic break. I know that.
So you're going with before the Olympic break. So their last game before the Olympic break would have been February 5th against the Panthers.
What was the game before that?
The game before that was lost to history. Hold on. The game before that was against the Sabres in overtime, where they won.
Okay, well, it was in overtime, so obviously.
Yeah.
All right, I'll see the Panthers game. Fuck it. Panthers
game,
this year.
that was a 5-goal win by the Lightning. But Mike, that was not the last time they won by multiple goals. The last time they won by multiple goals was a 4-2 win over the Toronto Maple Leafs. First game back from the break.
Yeah.
In a game with notable garbage goal scorer Nikita Kucherov scoring an empty netter.
I did not call him that. That was Adam who called him that, for the record.
Let's get out of here.